My name's Joey Allen, and I battle methamphetamines, alcohol, cocaine, prescription pills as painkillers, Adderall pills, pretty much anything kind of chemicals that I could ever get my hands on. I've done it, and I've battled it, and this is my story. I'm from Coweta, Oklahoma, born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I am an addict and alcoholic in recovery, and I am a firm believer in Jesus Christ. I'm going to tell my story just so maybe just one person can learn something from it, from my mistakes, and not have to do their own mistakes. But I'll start out as a young boy. I did go to church. My grandma picked me up as a young kid. She brought me to church every Sunday. My parents, as a young kid, they weren't active in the church. My dad was an alcoholic, and my mom, she liked to smoke marijuana. But as about 7 or 8 years old, we all got together, and they started going to church. So I grew up in church probably up until I started having to work when I was 17, right before I got out of high school. Did sports in high school. Baseball, football, wrestling. I was active in all kinds of stuff like that. I was all around good kid. Did party, on the weekends and stuff like that. But growing up, I couldn't have asked for a better childhood. We weren't rich, we were poor, but mom and dad did, they did the best they could for us, and I'm grateful for that. But as I got older, I drifted out of the church for a few years, but it wasn't that long. Around 1998, I found my way back to Christ again and asked Him to be my Lord and Savior and forgive me of my sins. And I did really good in the church for that. And then about 2001, we got out of church again. And just for certain reasons, I don't even know really why we did. We just did. And of course, whenever you get out of church, the devil comes to get you. But I got a really good job. I got married. Was married for about 3 years, and things happened, and we got divorced, and I took it a really, really hard way. By this time, I was around 27 years old when I got married. So instead of following God and doing the right things when we got divorced, I took it so bad on myself that I just started going to nightclubs, started getting involved with ecstasy, and the ecstasy progressed into other anything I could get my hands on. I didn't really care about my life then. I was very destructive. I led a very destructive life for a good portion of about 4 years solid of just madness. And I met my wife that I have now. I'm so grateful for her. I put her through a lot these past years, but we've been up and down. And through that, she straightened me up for a few years, and then a neighbor moved in, and they were getting me. I started hanging out and drinking with them a lot, and they started giving pills, and then I started back into methamphetamines again, and it was just madness for so many years. And me and my wife, we weren't married at this point in time, but we lived together, and she'd kick me out, and I'd do good for a while. She'd let me back in, and it went on and on for like that. And she finally just gave me the boot for forever, really. I didn't even plan on ever getting back together, but I picked up a case, and I was on probation, suspended sentence, and then while I was on suspended sentence, I picked up a DUI. And at the point in time of that DUI, I thought my life was over. I thought I was going to prison, but it turned out, I'm grateful for that officer for giving me that DUI, because it put me in jail again. It revoked my probation, so they put me, I was going to be in jail for a long time, but not even 3 days, 2 or 3 days, I went in front of the judge. my attorney wanted to come in, and he wanted them to drop my bond, so I could get out, which I didn't think I was going to get out anyways. But I didn't even get in front of the judge. They went in the judge's chambers. My attorney came out and he said, they want you to go to a program. And I already been talking to my mom saying I need to go to a program, but I don't know, or to a rehab facility of some sort, because I couldn't do it because of all my fines and stuff. Well, this gave me a way. It was court ordered to go. So that was what I needed to be. That's what I needed to do. And I had my options of ones to go to, and I wanted a long-term one. So I picked one that was a year. It was faith-based, so I thought it can't be too bad. I know I needed a long-term sobriety, and this was in 2016. So I went ahead and went for that. It was tough. The actual being at the rehab facility, the treatment center, wasn't bad at all. I loved everybody there. But what they did was we had to go there, and we had to pay for our place there. We had to go work at a chicken processing plant. And that was the worst job. I don't know how. I prayed and prayed and prayed every night, and I made it through that whole year. I don't know how I did it, just through God. It was the worst job in the world, I imagine there's some out there that's worse, but for me, it was every night praying, and I prayed every day while I was there, and I made it through that year. I went into Oxford House, about a year and a half in Oxford House, sober living in Tulsa, after I got out of that treatment center. I did really good in Oxford House, and then my wife, while I was in the treatment center, me and my wife now, we started talking again, and we developed a relationship. And once I got out of the treatment center in Oxford House, we got really, really close. And so we planned our wedding and everything, and we planned I would move out of Oxford House. In the same month that I did that, we were going to get married, and so that was our plan. And everything worked out, but I moved out of Oxford House, didn't have no accountability. A guy at work offered me an Adderall, and I was just me and myself, not doing my program like I know how to do. I said, oh yeah, it's been a long time. I'll be able to do that. That'd be cool. One's too many and 1,000's never enough. That's how they say it. And that's absolutely true. I took that pill that day, and I went back to square one where I was before I ever went to treatment. I figured out who he got his pills from that same night, and I went and bought 25 of them, thinking I was going to take them through a long period of time, but I ate them all that one night. That's the kind of addict I am. And then my wife found out about it. We barely went through with the marriage, and I straightened up, and it was ever since we got married in 2018. I just took her back to where it was at the beginning. And the only reason that she never really gave me the boot was because we were married at this time. So I'm thankful for the woman that she is, and keeping me around and got me through this. But how I ended up again, I never did straighten up, and I'd go on trips or go on binges, and then I'd do good for a week and go on binges, and it was just too much. And on Easter of this year, I went to work, and I was working, and I was stressed out, and for some reason, I decided to go to the liquor store and get some whiskey, thinking that she wouldn't find out. And of course, when she did, she told me to leave, and I'd already had so many 2 or 3 bottles in my truck. So I went out, and I was mad at her for making me leave, and I just drank everything. And how in the world? I don't know how. I'm just thankful for the Lord that I didn't hurt anybody on this point in time. But somehow on that point, I don't know where I got it from. I met up with I drank so much alcohol, I don't remember. I got a hold of a whole bunch of meth. I did I don't know how much I did, but it was enough where I just went on a crazy. I can't remember much of it, but I know I was running through the woods. My clothes was all torn up. Somehow I made it back, and I don't know how many days it was. My wife found me in the ditch. She took me from there, took me home, cleaned me up, and I told her I needed to go to the hospital. So I spent about 6 days in St. Francis Hospital recovering, and I don't really remember much of that. But thank goodness for all that happening. When I got out of there, we set up a program where I'd go to Valley Hope. It was my second treatment center. And through Valley Hope, it was really, really good. I learned a lot, and it was just something I had to do. Otherwise, she was going to divorce me, and there's no telling which direction I would have went. But through this, I've been on the right track ever since. I've been through some battles. I've got going through Celebrate Recovery. I've been doing online classes and counseling, and just trying to do everything I can so I can learn everything I can, and because I want to get to where I can just go to be outreach for kids, maybe go to high schools, and just drug awareness, and for kids to learn that there is a way you can come out of it. Just because, and even if you've been in a long-term recovery and you mess up, I am a witness to where you don't give up. That's pretty much all I can say is, like, never give up, no matter how bad you get down on yourself. Like I was saying, I've been going through definitely some trials this year. My father passed away in June. That's the hardest thing I've ever had to go through in my life. It was non-expected, and it's just been a fight. But I've been doing the right things. Keep your faith in God, and that's all I can do. And just for kids out there, the younger kids, if you can get anything that you can get when you're young, hold on to it. Just stay active in whatever kind of recovery you got. If you do happen to slip up and go back out there again, just remember what you learned and don't give up. You can come back. All the places, find somebody. There's so many people that'll help you, and so many people that's been down the same road as you. It's just never give up. I'm thankful for what God's done for me. He's gave me way too many chances. I mean, I've just been way out there, and I was so down on myself this last time, thinking I'm back in the same spot I was. I can't believe it. I would go into that treatment facility, and I was just devastated. I was so down on myself. Forgiving yourself is one of the hardest things that you could do. For years I thought about that. I would never forgive myself for what I've done. The pain I caused people, the people I hurt. Just the hurt just the shame that I put on myself. And once I got back clean, long-term sobriety, I was so happy with that, and I forgave myself and got back to that, the same person that I was, like the clean and sober me. And good things just start happening. When you're in good sobriety and you're doing the right things, good things happen to you. I'll just tell a story that is really a God thing. That it's just an amazing thing. We've been going to the church for a while. I've been clean for a year, no, I'll take that back, 2 years. I wanted to be in Oxford House for a whole complete year before I got my driver's license back, because I knew I was doing things the right way. So come that year, I had my tax money. We found a car I was going to get. We couldn't get the money on that Saturday, so we had to wait till Monday to get it. Well, we were going to get it, but the next Sunday we went to church, and they had me come up on stage and give them my testimony. And I was up there at church just giving my testimony, and got finished with it and was getting ready to walk off stage. Well, the gentleman came up and put his hand on my and pushed me kind of back up on stage, and he was shaking and stuff like that, and I was like, what? I didn't know what was going on. And he started talking and stuff. He's like, he goes, I did not know why the Lord told me to bring this with me to work, or to not work, to church today. But when you were doing your testimony, he goes, I knew exactly what it was for. And he gave me the title and the keys to my Mountaineer that I drive today. Just handed it straight over to me. And he didn't know, he barely even knew who my name was. It's like, he didn't know me, he just gave me the car. And that's a whole God thing right there. He didn't even know that I was looking for a car. And that's how God works. And I took that Mountaineer, and I was still in the Oxford house, and pretty much every guy in my house could fit in it, and we went to meetings and went everywhere, and it was big enough to haul the whole house around. And so I used it for, the goodness, and because the car that I was going to get was a little one. So so it was just amazing how God worked through that. That's like, when I tell that story, it gives me chills. And but that kind of backtracked a little bit on that, but I wanted to throw that in there. Just good things happen to you when you start doing good, and God rewards you for that stuff. And I've been through it. I know, and I know whenever I start messing up and going back out there again, He'll take it away too. So, I've lost my houses, lost my cars, lost my motorcycles through drug addiction and alcoholism, and I gain it back and lose it, and it's like, just don't give up. Keep your faith in God. If you do have trouble, like I said earlier, if you slip up, don't give up. That's all. That's my main thing for everybody. Just don't give up. But now, I'm excited about life again. I'm feeling good about myself again. Feeling back on top of the world. And I don't want to go back that direction again. And I know I have to do the things I can and keep my faith in God to stay on track. Don't lose focus. Do the right thing every day, one day at a time. Not 1 week at a time, not 1 month at a time. Just one day at a time is all it takes. Really, guys, just stay with it. Don't give up. If you have trouble, don't give up. There's always somebody there. Anybody, no matter how old you are, no matter how young you are, just don't give up.